The Cardinals shook up the clubhouse after an awful game on Tuesday and then went out and showed some fight against their old buddy Jordan Montgomery and the Diamondbacks to take the series. This is Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Hafford, and I'm a national radio sports anchor born and raised in the Lou and a lifetime Cardinals fan. And I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. You can follow me on Twitter, X at JD Sports Radio. You can follow the podcast at LO_Cardinals. We want to thank those of you who make Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. You can definitely find us on YouTube. Make sure you stop by, like, subscribe, and comment. Interact with us and hit that notification button so you know when new episodes are posted, because this is a show serving Cardinal Nation, the angry and the happy Cardinal Nation, and giving the best fans in baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. Today's episode brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. So go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use that code, all lowercase, LockedOnMLB, for a first deposit match up to $100. So I'm a really big movie guy. I love movies. My brain is full of useless information about movies and useless quotes. And when I was watching today's game and I was watching their come from behind victory, I immediately thought of the Rocky movies, specifically Rocky Balboa, because in that movie where there's a scene where he's with his son outside of the restaurant and he gives a really good speech. And I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with it, where he's talking about how, nothing's going to hit harder than life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward, how much you can take and keep moving forward, because that's how winning is done. And Tuesday night, the Cardinals got flattened. They got embarrassed. They got humiliated by the Arizona Diamondbacks. And you'd already heard the rumblings from the fan base if you're online at all, which obviously you are if you're, listening to this podcast. People saying things like, same stuff as last year. Nothing has changed. They still suck. And there's the fan side of me that wants to tell people who talk like that just over and over and over to go shut their pie holes, right? Like, you're tired of hearing about it. Try not being so negative about everything that has to do with this ball club. But then there's the other side of me that understands exactly why these people are as mad as they are and are as discouraged about things that have happened over the last few years. I get it. I sympathize with you. There are some things about this organization that I am very frustrated with. I completely see both sides of this whole case of, being positive or being negative, what you should be doing right now or how you should be feeling at this moment. And one side will say, like during one show, that I'm being too negative. And then there's the other side that will say I'm not holding the Cardinals accountable. I can't win no matter what I say. I had a guy in the comment section on Tuesday's episode, I think it was, who said I talk too much. On a podcast, said I talk too much. On this podcast, which is a form of communication through speech, I was told I talk too much. I'll never make everyone happy. And I know that. And I get that. And there's no way that the Cardinals are ever going to make everybody happy. And when you get your nuts kicked in 14-1, the negativity is going to soar, which it did. Despite that big win on Monday, which was a lot of fun, right? And it gave us a brief break from the gallons and gallons of haterade that have been dumped on this team last year and this year. And then you get a game like Tuesday, and it just leaves that nasty, dehydrated, white stuff in the corners of your mouth, bad taste on your tongue. And we were all very curious about how this team would respond on Wednesday. And of course, on top of all of this going on, you've got to face former Cardinal Jordan Montgomery, who I think like 95% of the fan base wanted the Cardinals to try and re-sign. And it doesn't appear that they did. They tried all that hard. He's one of the top left-handers in baseball. So this was set up for an easy letdown game, you know? Not many people expected them to win. So the Cardinals decided before the game started, they're going to shake this clubhouse up a little bit. Jordan Walker, been a shell of the guy that we saw last year after he came back from his demotion, which happened in April last year. He's been optioned down to Memphis to get his swing back, to get his confidence back, to get his swag back. Manager Ali Marmol had this to say about the demotion. It made sense for him to go down and play every single day and get to the point where he feels good about his swing mechanically, pitch selection, and some of the things that he's trying to work on in a high-stakes environment. And we tend to forget that Jordan is only 21, guys. He's going to be 22 in May. He's only 21. Like, he's still a kid. And I see people online accusing the Cardinals of, not being able to develop players. They're ruining this guy's career. I don't think that's what they're doing. They're trying to get it back on track where it belongs. They did the same thing last year. And hopefully when he comes back, the results will be better like they were last year. Our girl, Brooke Grimsley over at 101 ESPN tweeted out, said it very well. He's a big part of this team currently and in the future. So they're doing the safe thing. They're taking care of the guy and let him go figure things out at a lower level. And when he's ready, you bring him back. Similar situation with Zack Thompson. It's a very good possibility that Thompson could be in your starting rotation next season. And we've seen the good Zack Thompson. We know it exists. We saw it this year against the Phillies. But he's had back-to-back brutal appearances out of the bullpen. So he's out. And he wasn't going to be able to pitch this weekend anyway. So they're going to send him down to Memphis. He's going to start down there. And, they'll get whatever is going on with him. They'll try to get him back on track too. Because he's somebody that the team is going to need this year. And, of course, in the future. I mean, hell, if you could do it with Goldie, they probably would have done that by now, right? But that's not an option. You can't do that with them. But watching these young guys who are supposed to be keys to what you want to accomplish this year and for the next 5, 6, 7 years, watching them fail drastically at the major league level, it's not doing anyone any good. So I like these moves. I like that they are like, look, we recognize there's a problem. The major leagues is not where we're going to get this fixed right now. Let's get you down and get you all straightened out at Memphis. And when you're ready, you come back. Coming back up to the big club, veteran left-hander John King, who we know pitched very well last year. So we know that he's got some in it, but he's not going to be a guy that, they're going to bring in high leverage situations. At least you hope not. That's not a spot that he is put in like he was earlier this year. You hope that doesn't happen. Infielder Jose Fermin was raking at AAA, hitting .350, 4 dingers, 10 ribbies, OPS of 1.108. I don't know how much playing time he's going to get. That's the real question. There's not many spots available on the infield at the moment, but if Donnie's going to be playing a lot more left field, which what appears to be the case with what's going on with Walker, it's nice to have another infielder along with Crawford on the bench, and he can swing it from the right side. So we'll get into what happened in the game next, because the first 5 innings, man, it wasn't looking so good, was it? And then things blossomed for the Cardinals later on. So we'll get into all of that next on Locked On Cardinals. I've been told I'm a competitive person, and it's true. I do have a very big competitive side. A lot of us do when we're sports fans. And my competitive side currently at this moment is a very big fan of, yes, the St. Louis Cardinals, but also Monopoly Go. And I'm sure you've heard of it. You've probably downloaded it. It's been downloaded over 150 million times. And it's a great twist on Monopoly where you play on not one, but hundreds of Monopoly boards that they have available for you in crazy locations. You can build up amazing cities that bring you some big money. And the best part about it is being able to mess with your friends. You get them all together in a game and you can charge them rent on iconic properties, Park Place, Boardwalk, the drill, the names, just like classic Monopoly. But now you can also heist their vaults of riches for yourself. And then you've got the leaderboards that'll show you who the biggest Monopoly tycoons are. It really helps the competitive spirit when you know that stuff. But it's not just my competitive side that loves it. You can also team up with these guys. You don't have to, be enemies with your friends in the game of Monopoly Go. You can team up together and you can team up with people all around the world in time tournaments to earn huge rewards. So get in the game and join your friends. Download Monopoly Go. It's now free on the App Store or Google Play. That's Monopoly Go, now free on the App Store or Google Play. Baseball season is officially underway, so don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your PrizePicks entries, whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs. Take your pick of more or less and add them to your PrizePicks entry today. You can get in on the playoff action and win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason. My favorite aspect of PrizePicks has always been, and it will continue to be, how quick and simple things are. Because quick and simple is how I like to live my life. I can make my picks, submit my entries, and do it in less than 60 seconds. Okay. If I see something I like, boom, 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 move on with my day. All right. It's something you can do as well. And you get paid quickly when you do win your money. So quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and you've got an enormous selection of players and stat types. And that's what makes PrizePicks the number one daily fantasy sports app. And we're talking not just baseball. We're not talking just NBA, but Stanley Cup playoffs going on now too. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. And don't miss out on your chance to cash in on your sports knowledge. Download the app today. Use that code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy with PrizePicks. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day and have to turn it down because of all the shouting? Well, make the switch to Locked On Sports today. It's a free 24/7 sports streaming channel, and it's programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories from around the leagues without all of that screaming. Yeah, you get the analysis, you get the opinions, you get the news, and it's streaming 24/7 on YouTube, or you can watch it on the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. And a reminder, when the Cardinals are at home, you can catch every pitch of the Cardinals hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Cardinals. So in Wednesday's game, it was early on, it was a lot of same old Cardinals, right? And we all feel that. I can be the most positive guy on the planet and be watching these games through my, red Cardinals colored glasses. And even you have to at least point out the obvious, that is, it wasn't looking good early on. There was not a lot of action on the bases for the offense against Jordan Montgomery. Monty was dealing, and he was shoving, man. It wasn't good. He was really kind of making us look weak, and which has been pretty easy to do so far this season. On the other side, though, Kyle Gibson, the pitching staff for the Cardinals, were doing their job, as they have for the most part this season. Kyle Gibson, you got that first inning where things could have really gotten out of hand easily. Bases loaded, nobody out after a couple of singles and then a hit batter. And I even tweeted it. I'm like, off to a roaring start. Like, you're just waiting at this point for everything to just cave in, right? I get it. I understand. And that's exactly what the Cardinals didn't need, right? After getting blasted just a few hours beforehand, letting the D-backs strike early, and with a chance to really crush your soul with a big first inning. Not ideal. Christian Walker hits a sac fly, which was 10 feet from being a grand slam. When the ball went and you saw Siani turn around, you're like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. And it dies on the warning track. Siani makes the catch, sac fly, run scores. So it's 1-0. And then you've got the evil Eugenio Suarez, who's not an evil person, but he's evil against the Cardinals because he hits them very well. And he steps in, and Gibson's able to get the pitcher's best friend, gets that 6-4-3 double play, something the Cardinals pitchers and the defense have been quite good at so far this year. And when you compare this year and last year, because those comparisons are flying around right now because of the record the Cardinals currently have, you have to admit that is an area that the team has improved dramatically, the defense, which in turn helps the pitching staff be better as well because they have been better. So Gibson escapes with that 1 run. Then he and Monty kind of go back and forth in a pitcher's duel until the 6th inning. Not that Gibson didn't have, people on base. It's not like he wasn't in trouble during this game, but the Diamondbacks, they had guys on base plenty. 2nd inning, 4th inning, 5th inning, and Gibson had to wiggle out of some situations, but he did his job, kept it at 1-0, gave the Cardinals a chance to come back in this game. Then in the 6th inning, the Cardinals, they finally break through against Monty. You get the 1-out single from Donovan, who finished this game with 2 hits, bumped his average up to 217. Contreras rips a double into the right center field gap, scalds it at 105.6 off the bat. Look, I don't know the severity of the Wilson Contreras hand injury, the bone bruise thing that's going on, because there's some games where it looks like it's killing him. And then there's other games where it doesn't look like it's bothering him at all. But you got to admit, one tough SOB being out there every day for this team. I just hope everyone is recognizing what Wilson Contreras is doing. Next up, you get Nolan Arenado. First pitch he sees, serves it into left field, ties the game up at 1. Nolan Arenado now hitting 295 on the year. Just an FYI. First and third, 1 out. Montgomery spikes a changeup that goes to the backstop. Willie scores, and just like that, 2-1. Cardinals have a lead. And then in the 7th inning, we get some fun baseball by the Cardinals. This was my favorite play of the entire day. The Newt Bar, it's coming, but this was my favorite play of the entire day because the inning starts all because of Mason Wynn's speed. All right. Hits a line shot up the middle. D-back shortstop, Blaze Alexander, great name, by the way, knocks it down. But because he knows that is Mason Wynn, who's hauling balls down the line, has great speed, he rushes his throw a little bit, short hops, 2-time Gold Glove winner, Christian Walker over there at first base. He can't scoop it. Bird's got a runner on. Put it in play. Things can happen. Nolan Gorman steps in, and the Cardinals do something which was very reminiscent of, see this jacket I'm wearing? Whitey ball era. Some Whitey ball shenanigans going on this inning. They put Wynn in motion, and Gorman lines one beautifully into left field, and Wynn never breaks stride. Plays in front of him because Gorman served it into left field, plays right in front of him. He sees what's going on, turns second, doesn't slow down even a hint. Pops third base, scores all the way from first. Just beautiful baseball. Beautiful baseball, which is something we haven't seen a lot of. And Wynn was cooking around those bases, guys. Went first to home, 8.66 seconds per StatCast. That's the fastest first to home time by a Cardinals player in the StatCast era, which 2015, I think, is when that started. Previous high, Harrison Bader did it at 9.05 back in August of 2019. So you'd love to see more of that type of stuff, but the way this team strikes out, I'm not sure how much you're ever going to get of it, but it was awesome to see on Wednesday. Then in the 8th inning with the bases loaded, you're looking for a little insurance now that the score is 3-1, and you're able to get that 2-run double by Lars Nootbaar, which scored Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, and that was all she wrote. That was all she wrote, man. Cards win this one. It's a big one for them, too, 5-1. I'm going to give you my takeaways from Wednesday's game and why. Let's hold off on patting each other on the back just yet. Just yet, okay? Let's hold on. We'll talk about it next on Locked on Cardinals. This Mother's Day, get something thoughtful for mom on DoorDash. Surprise her from wherever you are with fresh bouquets. You've got the latest tech. You got gift cards. You got self-care treats and a whole lot more to make her day that much better. And you can use the code LOCKEDONMLB to get 50% off your next order. 50%, you guys. Up to $15 when you spend $15 on your next flower convenience, grocery, or retail order now on DoorDash. Pair flowers with a gift card so she can celebrate any way she wants. Is she into reading? Is she a bookworm? Try a bookstore gift card. Does she love a good latte? Get her a gift card to her favorite coffee shop. I mean, you can't go wrong because literally everything is available. Plus, you get the convenience of shopping on your phone so you don't have to be the one scrambling around, driving around to whatever store is open that will have something that your mom might like. Trust me, I've been there. Sorry, Mom, it was a long time ago. But order now and get everything you need for Mother's Day on DoorDash. Use code LOCKEDONMLB to get 50% off your next order, up to $15 when you spend $15 or more on your next flour, convenience, grocery, or retail. Order now on DoorDash. That's Locked On MLB. Order using DoorDash today. Terms apply. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. It's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the Free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows, which cover every league. You can find Locked On Sports Today now available on the Free Fire TV channels app. You've got the NFL draft first round Thursday night. Looking forward to it. Got my fingers crossed. Green Bay Packers, pick 25, Cooper DeJean. So I'm rooting for from Iowa. Could use his help in the secondary there. But anyway, back to baseball. Let's get my takeaways up here. Kyle Gibson. Kyle Gibson, you guys. Now, you can say what you want to say about Kyle Gibson. You can say he's a number 4, he's a number 5, whatever. But he was outstanding today. He battled, he fought. Through a bumpy 6 innings. Again, it wasn't easy for him today, but he did it. And once again, 6 innings of work. 6 innings of work. Remember, we talked about how important that number was when it came to the starters during the offseason, that's what the Cardinals were targeting. Everybody wanted them to spend money on guys like Blake Snell, who doesn't go 6 innings very often. They wanted people who can go 6 innings. And that's why they targeted Kyle Gibson and Lance Lynn and Sonny Gray. But Kyle Gibson has gone 6 or more in every single start so far this year for the Cardinals. Every single one of them. And he's got quality starts in 3 out of 5 of his starts. According to Rob Raines at STLSportspage.com, he's the first Cardinal to do that since Michael Wacha and Mike Leake in 2017 to have 6 innings or more in his first 5 starts. Mike Leake, man, that was a guy I thought he was going to work out for the Cardinals. That I was wrong there. Number 2, offense. Coming to life late with contributions from, my favorite part, just about everybody. You know, it was a solid team effort. They didn't have to rely on like 1 3-run home run by one guy or anything like that. It was the whole lineup working counts and taking walks and using their speed and situational hitting. It was great baseball. After the 5th inning. Leading up to the 5th inning, hitting-wise, there wasn't much going on there. But after that, it was awesome. It was awesome to see. Goldie, 2 for 4 today, back up to the 200 mark. Way to go. Mendoza line, baby steps. Baby steps. You got RBIs by Lars Nootbaar, Nolan Arenado, Mason Wynn. Pedro Pages gotten this one. Had a big at bat because he got a walk to load the bases after being brought in as a defensive replacement for Ivan Herrera, who we all know has had a very tough time throwing runners out this year. And Ali mentioned it in the post game that he wanted to make sure that if someone got on for Arizona late in the game, that they didn't get an extra 90 feet for free. You know, they had to earn it. And so far, throwing runners out at second base has not been something Ivan Herrera has been very good at. FYI, Cardinals now out of the cellar as the worst hitting team in the National League. Yeah! Raising the roof or doing the Blues power play day. I don't know what the hell that was. Anyway, the Marlins have that honor now. Skip Schumacher and company now 6-20 on the year. Only the White Sox have a worse winning percentage right now. They're 3-21, but Cardinals are out of the cellar. Moving on up, right? How about this bullpen? Takeaway number 3, legit with a lead so far here in 2024. The combination of Romero, Kittredge, and Housley has been fantastic. Fantastic. Now, there are going to be bumps in the road. We saw Helsley have an issue at the beginning of the season, but since then, not a thing, right? But there will be bumps in the road, but it'll happen. It happens to every bullpen at some point during the season. But got to admit, you got a lot of confidence with those three with a lead late in games right now. Jojo Romero's ERA is down to 1.46. Andrew Kittredge down to 0.90. And then Helsley, 2.08. Kind of nice. Because you know how it is when you face those teams and you get to the seventh inning and they're up by a run or two and you're like, we can't hit these guys. They basically shut down the final 3 innings of a game. And so far, I'm not trying to jinx anything, but so far, the Cardinals have some of that mojo going. Also, got to point out, you got to appreciate the fight after Tuesday's just fugly game. Like I mentioned earlier, they could have rolled over on Wednesday. They could have. They could have let Arizona steamroll them again and then try and regroup during their off day on Thursday. And that's not what happened. They played with energy. They played with purpose. And they played the way that this team was built to play. Like, we can bitch and moan about things that John Mozeliak does. You can complain and say that Ali isn't a good motivator. You could say those things if you want to. But if the guys aren't hitting like the guys who are supposed to be really good hitters that everybody in the league recognizes as very good hitters, when they're not doing that, hard to win baseball games no matter who you are, no matter who's managing, no matter who the general manager is. Makes it very, very difficult. And today you saw a glimpse of what the Cardinals can be. Now, before we start getting too excited about it, let's pump the brakes, right? It's a series win against the NL champions. First series finale win of the year. It's great. Don't get me wrong. But I need to see more games like this on a consistent basis, right? That's what we're looking for. And that's really the goal of the whole team, is to be able to play the way they did on Wednesday, as well as on Monday. We flushed Tuesday. But to have games like that, to be able to win close games like that on a consistent basis, that's what we're looking for. That's what the whole team's looking for. Get the bats going a little bit. Get some of these guys, Donnie, Gorman, Goldschmidt, hopefully Walker won't be down in Memphis too long. We'll get things figured out. He'll come back up. Newt will get moving again. We've already got some good things going on with Mason Wynn. Wilson Contreras is hitting. Nato's hitting. Ciani's contributing, not offensively, but defensively. You know, it's a combination of things. So you do that. You keep getting solid starting pitching. Keep pouring in those quality starts. You keep playing at the top level defense that you're doing already. Things are going to work out. They're going to work out. But you got to be able to do it on a consistent basis, which is something they haven't proven they've been able to do yet. So off day on Thursday. Then they're in New York against the Mets for this weekend. I know you're going to be upset about this, but Friday night is an Apple TV game. Miles Michaelis set to take the bump against Jose Budo. Although spelled butt. Anyhow, good win, good vibes on Wednesday. Enjoy the off day on Thursday. We're back at it on Friday. And I hope that at least taking 2 of 3 from Arizona help relax some people a little bit. They still got a long way to go. I know this. They got a losing record. They're still in last place, okay? Let's not be blind to who they really are right now. But hopefully, things are getting better. Thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. If you haven't already, give me a follow. Twitter X at @LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. Help our channel and love for the Cardinals grow. You guys are the best fans in baseball for a reason, and we will see you next time on Locked On Cardinals.